Okay, so this tutorial is about unwrapping and applying textures around an entire surface of the ring. So we'll jump into ArtCam and I'll show you how to do this. Alright, so I want you to go and open a project, and supplied with the DVD is the eagle ring funnel. And let's go, and I've created a rotary shank for you. Okay, so let's go into the rotary shank model. Double click, and all this is a size 10 rotary extra shank. I just drew a couple of vectors. So we're going to select the top rail, hold down the shift key, the bottom rail, the cross section, and then last of all you can select the Z modulation height. Go to the sweep profile and you should have just this basic shape now made. Right, so we're going to merge low, or we're going to cut off this top. So to do that we have to just draw a box that's bigger than our ring. Make sure you center it. It's very important that the box is centered. And then we are going to use the create a flat plane, but instead of creating a flat plane we are going to cut out, meaning we're going to cut anything that is higher than 4.5. so anything that's higher than this 4.5 will be taken off. It's very similar as the shape editor merge low function. So with the cutout checked, it's going to remove anything that's higher than this. We're then going to say OK, accept, and we have the basic shank of our ring now made. Alright, so it's very important that you hollow the ring out, because you cannot unwrap it well if it is a solid block. You can, but it's easier if it is hollowed out. So let's hollow the ring out. It's something you have to learn anyway. So you go to your back relief tools. Okay, if your back relief tools are not there for some reason, you'll go here, you'll put your mouse up here, you will right click and you will go down to your back relief tools right there, and you will make sure it's now checked, and it'll be right back where it's meant to be. Alright, so you go to the back relief tools, and let's leave 1.6 because we're going to be unwrapping this, and we're going to say apply. And what this does is on the back relief it will make a hollowed out version for you. Alright, so let's take a look at the back relief file. There are two layers. Make sure the bottom layer is turned off, top layer is turned on only, and now you can see this is the hollowed version. This is the part that is eating into our ring. Okay, so once again it's eaten into the bottom shank, which we're now going to repair. So we can decide, I'm just going to delete these, we don't need these anymore. We can now decide how much of the ring we want to save. So I'm just going to go, okay, let's hollow it down to about there. So to make your shape and mine, 24 by 13 is the rectangle I just drew. And what we want to do is we just want to go to node editing, make this into an arc. And basically we want to zero out inside this here. So let's pull this a little bit more. Okay, so it's slightly halfway pointers here. We're going to zero out, so it's slightly less than halfway. So now we can bring up the shape editor F12 and we are going to merge low. Cancel, apply and cancel. Alright, so we got to mirror, same to the opposite side. It is left over right. So now we would have just hollowed out the inside of the ring. Also, if we're going to unwrap, you can unwrap the entire ring, but since we will only be wrapping on half of this ring, we're going to cut this ring in half. So we're going to draw a box now. While we are in the back view, I'm just going to draw a rectangle box that's slightly larger than the back view. Press F9. And then we're going to go to the front view. Okay. And we're going to rename this original. And we're going to make a duplicate of this. So we're going to make a duplicate. Right click and select duplicate. And now we're going to rename this ring half. Okay. So we're going to go and select this, bring up the shape editor, and we are, oops, sorry, not the shape editor. We're going to just remove the rest of it. Okay. So you go on mine, it is Alt I for inside, which is what I don't want to do. Alt O for outside. You want to remove the rest of it, keep that intact. Okay, so there we have half of our ring. And if you want to, you can actually make a hole through the top as well. Okay, so let's just draw a little oval there. This is something you don't have to do. In fact, let's not do it. Let's not punch. Yeah, let's go and punch a hole out. So bring up the shape editor and merge low, apply and cancel. Alright, so you don't have to punch the hole out, but I've just decided to punch the hole out. Alright, so this is now done, so you'll do a save. So I'm going to save as well. You'll save as well. And now we're going to create a triangle mesh of this because we need to add it to our assembly so we can unwrap it. So we'll make a mesh closed with a back relief because we have hollowed it out. So we will now select close, or create. And we'll call this blank half, and we will add to project. Just do a quick save again. Alright, so the next thing to do is this hole we made there is about 12 millimeters in diameter. So we're going to wrap a core around the inside core of this. The core can't be larger than our ring because we won't see it. And we don't want the core really small as well. We want to try and get a core that's big enough without going through and damaging the inside of this ring. Alright, so we're going to duplicate this as well. So we are going to copy, go to assembly and paste. Then this half we're going to turn off. We're going to take this one that is visual right now, and you're going to go to the nudge tools and you're going to tell it to center object. Okay, and with that centered, we are now going to close the rotary axis file down. So that's why we are seeing two of these. So we're going to go rotary axis, right click and close this file down. Do you want to save it? Yes, we want to save. Alright, so now we are going to go into a vertical rotary setting. Okay, the diameter is the core that we have here, so I'm going to say 12. Okay, The thickness is from the core outwards. So I'm going to say 3 mils approximately. The height is the thickness of this ring, and this top half is 17 from here to here high. So I'm going to say let's make this at least 20. Border 1 is more than enough. And let's bring the resolution down to 40. And we're going to call this eagle top. And we're going to accept this. Okay, so we are back inside the vertical rotary axis. And now what we have to do is we have layers here. If you look at this, we have a front layer and we have a back layer like we normally do. But I need to now bring this STL in and put it on a layer here. So to bring it into here and convert it into a relief, I'm just going to right click and create a rotary relief. It's going to bring it in on the front and on the back. You can see there it is there on the front and there it is there on the back. So I'm going to turn off the layers we don't need, which is these two layers at the bottom. So just those two are in play. And now we're going to go to the 3D view and turning off the assembly view. We do not need to see the assembly view. I can now see what it looks like. Okay. So now we are ready to start to unwrap this ring. So let's bring up our preview and let's merge high our background. So we double click and we change it to merge high. Shape editor, make sure it's all on 0. Merge high, apply and cancel. So now we need a vector line to go around this. So we're going to go to this one here, sorry, create a boundary from a relief. And we're going to tell it, make sure this layer is highlighted, not them both, otherwise you're going to get a big rectangle around the outside. Just make sure this layer is highlighted and create a boundary. All right. Right, so this line we are going to offset. And let's offset it 0.70. We want it to be inwards. So it gives us 0.7 and 0.7. Let's close the offset tool down. And now we need just to extend this out. So we're going to go back into node editing. Okay, and we're going to grab just the very last nodes there. And you're going to use the left arrow and just take it all the way out. And we're going to do the same on the opposite side. You're just going to grab all of that and stretch it all the way out. Okay, so with that done now, you can now bring up the shape editor and we can start to cut the recess back. So F12 brings up the shape editor. Okay, so we want to make sure we are on subtract. We want to limit the height to, let's say 0.6, and you're going to now bring the angle down. What we're doing is trying to keep it as smooth as we can. Alright, so that looks pretty smooth, so we can now go apply and cancel. Alright, so we are now ready to apply whatever relief you want to wrap around the outside of this. So let's go to your relief clip art library. And you can pick anything you want to out of the user group. I'm going to pick this eagle. And it comes in. Now, if you don't see your eagle for some reason, when you open up your clip art and you don't see it, make sure your clip art layer is actively turned on, because you will still see it here. If it's turned off, you won't see it here. Actually, you can see now you're not seeing anything. So make sure that this layer is turned on. Right, so with that now visible, we need to just scale this down. So we're going to highlight it go to the transform tool and scale it so that it fits on our ring. So I'm just going to make it a bit smaller. Okay, so now we need to use the envelope distortion tool to get it to fit inside this area here. Okay, so to do that, you open up the envelope distortion tool, and now you have to work in your 3D view, and let's turn your vectors on in the 3D view, and I'm going to hide this ring. So just turn this layer off right here on the right hand side. Just turn this layer off. Alright, so now we are going to stretch this down. So I'm not going to worry about the height at the moment. I'm just going to make sure that it fits inside. So I'm going to grab those vectors and drag them out. Grab those vectors and drag them out. Bring that down to there, and then I'm just going to bend this a little bit in, grabbing the bottom node, grabbing that bottom node. I can stretch this just a little bit more, stretch this just a little bit more as well. Then I'm going to grab these two and I'm just going to drag them down, push it a little bit back again, push this node a little bit back as well, then pull these two up. Okay, so let's pull the corner down so it fits. Pull this corner down so that it fits as well. Okay, we can drag this some more down. I'm going to insert a point here and see what that does actually, because now I'm just dragging the body down, which is what I want to do. Okay, with that done, I'm going to go to finish. And now I can move him out the way, because what we want to do is I now want to paste 3 of them on this line. Okay, so before I paste, I'm going to go back to the transform tool, and you'll notice that the height is really way up. I'm going to bring the height down to 2. Apply. Okay, we could have gone a bit more, maybe 2.5. Apply. Make sure when you do that, these were unchecked actually. Because when you open this up, this might be checked, in which case you would have gone and scaled everything smaller. If that's the case, you have to go back and then you have to redo what we've just done. Right, so with that done, we now can paste. So we finished with the transform tool, so I can close it out. I'm going to paste 3 along this line. So inside the full vector tools, you have paste along a vector. We want a total of 3, so we can paste. We're going to grab them. We're going to ungroup, hold down the shift key and deselect this one. Right click and group those vectors. So this one we do not need. I'm going to highlight it and delete it. This one we don't need. I'm going to highlight it and delete it as well. So pressing F9 is going to center these, and I'm just going to use the up arrow to get them to sit once again on our ring. Alright, so where they are now, we can bring up the transform tool again, and we can tell it to paste to a new layer. But before we paste, let's look at the mode and make sure that it's not on merge high. Okay, well, since it's going to its own layer, merge high would be fine, but ideally we want it on add, and I want to see the outline vector after it's pasted. Okay, so let's go and paste it down. Alright, so let's turn our layer on. Let's turn our ring on. You can see it is now wrapped around on our ring. Let's turn our vectors off here. So we finish with this tool. Turn off our vectors, and let's just label this, rename this eagle. Alright, so we've got our eagle and the ring. Okay. So now we can apply texture to the background if you want. Okay, if you want to grab the snakes, you can grab the snakes so it goes in his feet. Let's see what that actually looks like. See if it's even possible. Let's go to the transform, make sure everything's unchecked again. And let's just see what that would look like actually. So with that, let's drag it all down. Make this also down to, well, let's finish just dragging it all down first, make it smaller. Let's put this down to 1.25. Apply. And once again, we want to paste to a new layer. All right, so let's see what that looks like. That's on merge high. Let's put on to add. Let's turn our vectors off again. And there you can see he's now holding a snake. Right, so with the snake layer highlighted, because I needed one this time, okay, we need to mirror left over right. Okay, so that's showing you I could have just pasted one eagle, mirrored left over right, but I wanted to show you how to paste. And now we've just pasted one and added it left over right. All right, so let's go now and texture the background. So I'm going to make a new layer, call it texture. Okay, with just the layer highlighted and everything else turned off, we can now grab this vector and this vector there, and we want to weld them into one long line. Okay, like that. Oops, that's doesn't matter. We can select this one because I didn't have the snake vector here, but we can delete that, and of course we can just mirror this whole thing. So let's go to the mirror and across the model is the same thing. All right, so let's group those and let's group these. All right, so we're going to select the outside vector and we're going to group. We're going to now texture inside the background. So we're going to go relief, texture. You can pick any texture you like. I'm just going to pick one from a file. It sits on your desktop inside your ArtCam files. You're going to go to reliefs, down to texture, and you can pick any texture you like. So you can pick rocks, grain. I'm just going to pick, let's take a brick wall, open it up, and it is way too big as you can see, so I'm going to scale it down to 10. Okay, and let's turn on all the views so we can see what we are going to turn on our blank as well. Okay, so we can see what the brick pattern and that looks like. So let's scale the height of the brick down to, let's say, 0.3. This would be a good guess, 0.3. And I'm going to add the texture onto the background. So let's press add. Okay, so there we have gone and added texture onto the actual ring. All right, so we close out of that. Okay, let's close these menus. We don't need them open. All right, so let's to keep all these in view, so I'm going to right click and I'm going to merge visible, so I only have one active layer. Let's turn our back layer on. There we go. Okay, and now we are ready to add this back to the assembly. So you're going to click on create a mesh, close with a back relief, because we made a back relief, we want it still hollowed out, and create. Okay, so it's going to be the eagle top complete, so MP and add to project. Alright, so basically that's all we did here. That's all we needed to do here. So we're going to do a save. And we now will go File. File, Close Model. Alright, so let's have a look what we have here now. So the only thing we need is the bottom shank. So I'm going to add the bottom shank on now. So let's go back to the rotary axis where we made it. And let's go back to where we did the original, which is right there. Okay. Let's put them one onto merge. And I'm just going to right click and merge visible, and I'm going to rename this bottom shank. Alright, so what I basically did was I highlighted both of these to get the shank back again, because remember, while the one was on, we only had a half a shank, but we still had the original showing. So the original was the whole ring. So I just merged these two layers into one, which gives us a whole ring again, and these two are still kept intact. So taking this now, we'll bring up the shape editor and we will merge low. You'll apply and cancel. And then you'll add the shank back to the assembly. And we want to close it with a flat plane. So this is the shank by itself. So we'll delete that first part, just keeping shank. Delete and add to project. Alright, so we'll do a quick save. And let's go back and look at this now. Alright, so we are done with the rotary axis folder. So put your mouse on the right hand side, right click and close the folder out. Alright, so we just got to nudge the top of our ring. So we'll turn that off. So we got the eagle. We're going to go the eagle top and we're going to nudge it up approximately 6 millimeters. World center. And that puts us right back where we're meant to be. Okay, so let's just add a little gem in between here. So to do that, you go back to the assembly and you can pick if you have something in your component folders. I'll supply you with this side stone as well again. So you'll select it and just import it. So there is the gem there by itself. So the first thing we need to do is we need to turn this gem around the blue axis 90 degrees. And then we're going to move it up, let's say 14 upwards. And then outwards in blue, let's go 6 just to get it approximately in green where it's meant to be. Whoops. What are you doing, you fool? Alright, so there we go. So now I'm going to nudge it back so it goes into the ring. So it's got to come a little bit down, as you can see. So let's go to 0.5 at a time. Let's go down. And let's go back with the red again. Now you can see it's slightly at the wrong angle. Let's go down a little bit more. Let's go 0.1. Just nudge it down into position. And it needs to be rotated around the red arrow. Let's go 2 degrees at a time. And we want to go around its component center, not world center. So let's go. Just get it to be flush like that. And then let's move it back in green just a fraction. So it sits it down. There we go. Right, so this is easy. This we will now mirror to the opposite side and apply. And now you can add on a gem. I'll show you, and I would have showed you, but if you don't have it again, no, you will have it, because I'm going to show you how to add a gem. So we would have, by this stage, hopefully have already added your cabochon in. So let's make it a sapphire, and let's make the width, let's make the width, no, let's leave it all the same for now. I'm just going to scale it looking down. Oh, we had some pixels I could have shown you how to remove. Right, let's do the gem. In the meantime, I'll go back and show you to do the pixels. So let's go to the cab, and this is in direction of red. We're going to scale it to 16. All right, and that's a quick view of how to wrap texture around the outside of a ring. The next project will get a little bit more detail, where we're going to be using stones and prongs and everything else. I have a couple of tricks to help you with that. I hope you found it informative. Thanks.